religious leaders speak about wealth from a negative perspective, where overnight success is built in 10, 20, 30 years. So what the world sees is the overnight success. So sometimes it's the amount of time you've invested in something when you just grow up never thinking about designing and planning your life. Hello guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angoya and I make personal finance and personal development videos. Today, I wanted to stop over here and really talk about some of the lessons that I only learned when I started working for and with wealthy people. And these are going to be interesting because they really speak to life, but from a really interesting lens that I never heard growing up or really just going to school. I did not have this until I started working for like business people and really speaking to them and really trying to learn from them, that I started realizing like wealthy people kind of think about things a little differently than I knew or than I had ever imagined. So let's get into it. The first thing that I learned was that success is by design and not by accident. So I just always thought that you work hard and you maybe become successful or you don't. I never knew that you can actually design and plan for success and do things and shape your habits, shape your life in a way that leads you to that goal. I never knew that. And when you just grow up never thinking about designing and planning your life, you just think that you get there when you get there. So for example, I was just sharing with some of my friends that I thought owning a home comes with time. So I just thought that you get 29, 30, 40, I don't know, and you just have a house. I didn't realize you can start planning to be a homeowner 10 years prior to you becoming a homeowner and doing everything, educating yourself, saving, doing your research, and then maybe 5-10 years from there you are a homeowner. Like that was just like strange to learn that you plan and design success and it doesn't just happen. Most of us think that you just become successful because of what you were handed in life, or because the lucky stars or the world is really conspiring to work for you. But no, you work, you plan, and you consistently do the work that's needed to get there. That was number one. Number two, which I just kind of like alluded to, is that consistency beats hard work. I learned hard work. I learned to work hard at everything, and maybe that's consistency, but I realized that sometimes hard work is not enough. Sometimes it's how many times you fail and keep going at it. Sometimes it's the amount of time you've invested in something and less about the quality of the investment. So if it means just doing 20 minutes, whether you're tired, not the most quality thing that you have to do, but you consistently do it, you can reap the results of it in a bigger way than what hard work would have given you. I had never really thought about things from that angle. I always just thought that you work hard, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But sometimes I just realized that it is about consistency. I was reading this book called Build, and the author was speaking to like the things that he's built. Like I think he built the thermostat or something, and he was saying that overnight success is built in 10, 20, 30 years. So what the world sees is the overnight success of companies like Apple and other tech companies that have happened. But what you don't realize is that it took 30 years of somebody's work or 10 years of somebody's work to become that overnight success. That is one thing that I remind myself every day, that the small things that I do could have a really big impact in the future. So consistency really, really does beat hard work. The third thing I learned is that you attract wealth. I know it sounds weird, but the law of attraction works that way. You really do attract wealth. You live your life hoping and being open to receiving the wealth and speaking about the wealth. Then, like they say, the world will conspire, the universe will conspire and bring that to you. So you attract what you want, and wealth is one of the things that a lot of us want, and you actually do attract it. It just doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't happen by accident. You design it, you also do attract it by the process of designing for success and things like wealth. That is how you attract it. The fourth thing that I learned that was just really like mind blowing for me was that wanting wealth does not necessarily make you a bad person. So I grew up, in the church, and I think I just heard a lot of like religious leaders speak about wealth from a negative perspective, where chasing wealth, like the lesson was bigger. I'm not saying they taught us not to want wealth, but like the lesson was big about, I didn't have the brain to isolate things from the message. So for me, the message that I got was, you should not desire wealth, you should not desire earthly things. And so I always thought about people that really want to be comfortable and wealthy and do this big things in life as people who are somewhat evil and greedy. I also grew up hearing stories of like wealthy kids being bad kids and wealthy people being sad, and you hear all these things and you're just like, yeah, I don't want wealth. But after working with wealthy people, I realized that some of them have the most amazing kids. Most of them are actually really happy. Most of them really care about the world and other people. They are very charitable. They're very genuine in their interactions. They're very interested in other people's success. And that changed my perspective, because I was just expecting like, people that would be disrespectful, people that would have all this sadness in their life, and I wasn't seeing that. I was just seeing like, oh, I'm in therapy, I'm doing this, I'm happy, I'm going on this trip, and they can afford to do it. And I realized like, yeah, wanting that life does not make you a bad person or an evil person. And for me, I used to just think of it from like that message that I heard in church, like, do not want earthly things. And rich kids are terrible kids, they're evil, they do bad things, and wealthy people are very sad. Like, those are the three things that I thought about when I thought about wanting wealth. So it's okay, please look for it, want it, work towards having it, because there's nothing evil about that. The last lesson was, you have to consistently want to learn and educate yourself in order to achieve the success that you're looking for. So sometimes you just think that these wealthy people just have things working, and they just sit there and their money grows and their families become successful and they rip off poor people, and there's truth to it. But from my experience, a lot of the people that I experienced that had a lot of wealth were also the most informed people I've ever met, were also the most willing to learn people that I've ever met. They educated themselves, they asked questions, they were so informed on what's going on. Like, they would hear something in the news and give you a call and ask, do you know anything about this? How is this going to impact me? Is there a book you can recommend with this information? How do we tackle this? And it was just really beautiful to see the people like the excitement to learn and educate themselves and saying, I don't have experience in this, or I don't have any information about this. Are you, are you well informed? What are your thoughts? It was so strange. Sometimes I'll get calls from like really like older people, and they'll be like, I would really like to hear your opinion on this. And I'm like, I'm 26, 25. But it was just really like, it changed my perspective on education and staying informed and being interested in things that would impact me. So you ask yourself, why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this because I had spoken in one of my videos and said, talked about like the curse of knowledge, and how you learn something or you see something and you just like, once you learn it, you assume everybody around you knows it, and you're just like, how can you not know that? But I found myself like having conversations with people and they're like, wow, that is interesting, or like, wow, how did you know that? And I realized like, oh, it's the curse of knowledge. So now I'm doing this thing where I'm like, if I know something, I'm going to put it out here, and we can have conversations, we can have discussions. Please feel free to share some of the things that you've learned from, just working with people that were different, or talking to people that have a very different life from yours. It could be older, it could be younger. I think there are so many lessons that we can learn from each other without necessarily intending to actually learn, but like really just being observant. So these things were not things that I was told like, this is how those people think about this. These were things that I observed as an outsider, somebody who didn't grow up or who didn't have that much money, and I was just observing these people, and I was like, wow, these people are so consistent, these people are like this, and asking questions from just trying to understand their lifestyles. And those were, there are so many other lessons that I learned, but those were just 5 that I have used in my life, and I know that they've transformed my life. Like, even having this YouTube channel was a product of this. So if there are other lessons that you have encountered, please leave those in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching, and come back next week for another video. Bye.